Welcome back to The Vocalist. Today I am hearing the singer Jimmy Fontana for what I believe is the first time, so we're starting with the song Il Mondo. Here we go.
No, stanotte amore non ho più pensato a te. Ho aperto gli occhi per guardare intorno a me e intorno a me girava il mondo come sempre. Gira il mondo, gira nello spazio senza fine, con gli amori appena nati, con gli amori già finiti, con la gioia e col dolore della gente come me. Un mondo, soltanto adesso io ti guardo, nel tuo silenzio io mi perdo e sono niente accanto a te. Sempre il giorno ed il giorno verrà. Oh,
Stop. Oh my gosh. I have shivers up my spine. This is different from my usual goosebumps. It's like my whole back. Wow. Obviously it's a great song, but what he's doing with it is just... Okay, we're gonna get into it. I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I think what I enjoy most is this sort of speech-like, not most, but something that kind of set the scene for me is that speech-like opening and how the song progressed, how he allowed his vocals to build, and not just in terms of dynamics. Back to the beginning.
no.
Okay. When I talk about something that is reminiscent, I know there is a whole vocal technique when people talk about speech level singing. I'm thinking more, maybe some, yes, there is an element of that to what I'm hearing, but I'm focused a little bit more on his innate speech patterns. Obviously, I haven't heard him speak, but when you think about, even just the way I said, when you think about sometimes when we're speaking a little low, it's easier for us to incorporate more breath. It's easier for us to slow down any sort of potential vibrato. There's something gentle that kind of takes over, and it has to, because when our chords are as short and as thick as possible, we still need them to vibrate. We still need for them to be able to move. And so you can't put quite as much air and as much muscle into that sound. Obviously, I did that longer than necessary, but I wanted to kind of... you can hear already the difference in my vocal production compared to when I was trying to speak lower. And so it's still natural to my voice, but there are certain characteristics that we have to incorporate on the lower end. If I tried to speak really firmly, it kind of hits a wall. There's a flatness to it because I'm not allowing the vibrations to do what they need to do. Similarly, hearing him start this, it feels so warm and so relaxed, and similar to speech patterns when you are lower in your range. And I love that effortless elegance. I think it's just so stunning.
No, stanotte amore non ho più pensato a te. Ho aperto gli occhi per guardare intorno a me. E intorno a me girava il mondo come sempre.
Every language has characteristics that I think are given the opportunity to shine in music. And recently I spoke about Portuguese and what I perceived as diphthongs, a lot of vowel combinations. But when I think of Italian as a language, there certainly are some diphthongs, but there are a lot of just really pure vowel sounds for the entire duration of the word. And so the advantage to that as a singer is if you can keep the same shape of the vocal tract, it makes things easier. You almost get to not set the voice, but you kind of prepare everything in one position, and you get to just sing into that. And so you get to enjoy just the glory of tone, of the beauty of the voice. And that's something, yes, we're hearing lots of consonants throughout, but the vowels for the most part just seem very consistent, and I really appreciate that.
Come sempre. Gira il mondo, gira nello spazio senza fine, con gli amori appena nati.
Now, for the most part, we were in a fairly low dynamic level at the beginning of this song, and just now we got a little bit more adduction, a little firmer press as he ascended.
Lo spazio senza fine, con gli amori appena nati, con gli amori già finiti.
You can hear that it's so gorgeous. That added ring. It's not just a matter of firm press in the chords, but we're also now adding more resonance. I feel like he's putting the sound a little bit further forward. Obviously that helps with dynamics. It carries more. It just gives that gorgeous ping. And I particularly like the contrast and how quickly that happened.
Il mondo gira nello spazio senza fine, con gli amori appena nati, con gli amori già finiti, con la gioia e col dolore della gente come me. Un mondo, soltanto adesso io ti guardo, nel tuo silenzio io mi perdo e sono niente accanto a te.
So when he first placed that sound a little further forward and we got firmer adduction, it had the sort of ping and a slight bit of cover that we hear a lot from classical singers. But I think a big part of that can be attributed to the vowels, because as soon as he sang Il Mondo, it's much more mid in the mouth. It's not O's, O's. A lot of those vowels sit further back, and he didn't push it forward. And I think that's the other element that I was thinking of when speaking about speech-like patterns. Depending on the venue, if you're mic'd, we have to do certain things to create more sound to be heard. But when you take a more natural approach to a song, like what I'm perceiving here. I just think it lets the voice shine in a different way. Yes, of course, we get beautiful, pingy, bright tones when someone has to pull the sound forward and get more projection, but there's also something so lovely about singing as if you were speaking. It's just a really beautiful sound to me. I'm gonna play it one more time.
Silenzio io mi perdo e sono niente accanto a te. Il mondo non si è fermato mai un momento, la notte insegue sempre il giorno ed il giorno verrà.
I like how he really sang through that lower O. Sometimes when I hear this song, I feel like singers just go for the big note and then they don't sing through when they have any sort of descending pattern, which I don't blame them, because this is a very lush, like romantic sounding like orchestration. The music is, the melody, all of it, it's just gorgeous. So sometimes you can't help but be swept away by that, even as a singer. But this is what separates like good singers from great singers, is really singing through the entirety of the line, really giving the full value of every note, and recognizing the importance of every note. And I'm gonna play this one more time because I was a little surprised at how long he carried that lower note, because I'm just not used to hearing it in this piece. Play this one more time. That is one of the most gorgeous deliveries I've heard of that line. It's so breathtaking. I think the freedom in his timing is one thing that's really exciting me, really focusing on the text itself. Let me play that one more time. I know I've heard this song before, and I'm ashamed to say I know it wasn't him either. So now that I've heard the OG, I'm so curious to hear more. I just love the sound of his tone. I love his approach to the melodic line, to the text. It's so luxurious and so simple all at the same time, so natural. And so I feel like I was just able to really enjoy the beauty of his tone, and it was magnified because of the song, of course, and the text and the way he delivered it, and it was just really lovely. So I'm excited to hear more. I've got some digging to do, some research, but that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for this recommendation and for watching with me, and hopefully I will see you next time.